Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. For the past month, we've been really focusing on the tabletop scene within the Discord, pulling in more DMs, more players, more storytellers, so that we can spin up games across a variety of different adventure paths. And as part of that, I played a tabletop game for the first time in years last night. I really enjoyed the experience, and so I thought, you know what? I might as well make a video and talk about it with all of you. So first, before we get into that, let's talk about the changes that are being made on the Discord. I've been thinking a lot this year about how to make the Discord experience more fun, more engaging, and more valuable for the people who are joining up. And I've decided one of the ways I want to do that is really focusing hard on the tabletop scene and trying to make my Discord a place where people who love tabletop games or want to get introduced to the community, or DMs who have products regarding tabletop games and want an opportunity to showcase their skills and hopefully convince people to purchase those products, can come into my community and be able to do that. And so as part of that, we've started running a lot more tabletop games on the scene. So right now we have 2 Pathfinder Hell Vengeance games, 2 Vampire the Masquerade games, and we have 1 Street Fighter game. And by the time this video comes out, we might have filled out our Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous tabletop game as well. And then there are a couple of other games where potential DMs are kind of thinking about it. We might be starting up a Pathfinder Starfinder game soon. I think Urban Shadows has been brought up a couple of times. And of course, there are multiple people who would really like to see a D&D game start up, which we haven't actually done yet. So I think all of that is going well. The question is, when do we kick it up another notch? None of these games are being live streamed, and I'm not really doing content for them. That was a very purposeful decision, because what I didn't want was a situation where people felt like, oh, if I play a tabletop game on Slandered server, then I've got to be willing to be on camera. I've got to expect that it's going to be reproduced as content, you know, all that kind of stuff. There are some people I absolutely know, they're very private. They want their cameras off the entire time. They prefer to just play with an intimate group. They don't want 100 people watching them while they play. So I felt like it was important to establish from the very beginning that it's not that type of situation. There's going to be a host of different tabletop games running, and you will absolutely be able to find an intimate private experience if that's what you prefer. Now, I do want to work towards having some specific tabletop games that we are going to do as content, so we can live stream it, and people who are interested in that kind of content will be able to watch it. Let me know down in the comments, do you feel like that type of content makes sense on Slandered Gaming? Or do you feel like it would probably be best for me to make a separate channel specifically for tabletop related content, so it's segmented off from everything else I've already been doing? Because to be honest with you, while I know a lot of you enjoy video games based on tabletop games, I'm not sure if people are not playing tabletop games, how they're going to feel about more tabletop content all of a sudden coming up on the channel. And I certainly don't want to damage what we've been able to do on Slandered Gaming. So I've been really curious to hear from the community. All right, now that's all the background and stuff about the Discord. Let's get into my actual experience playing Vampire the Masquerade. I've only played the video game Bloodline, so this is my first time with the tabletop, and man, I had an absolute blast. Really enjoyed it. First and foremost, let me give a huge shout out to Malkav the Mad, who is the DM for our session. He's been absolutely fantastic. About half of the group is new to creating characters in Vampire the Masquerade, so he had to spend a lot of time walking us through the character sheet and walking us through how to build our characters. And he's crafted a campaign where there's a real possibility down the line that we'll all become rivals and end up fighting against each other. So he couldn't pull us all into the same room and work on our character sheets at the same time, because there are certain things about our character sheet that we can't know. So he basically had to sit with each of us separately, and in some cases it took 2 or 3 hours to try to pull people's characters together. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate all the work. Thank you so much. So me personally, I'm running a Tremere. They're one of my favorite classes from Bloodlines. I love the concept of being able to turn a person's blood against them. I love being this character who's feared and known for performing blood rites, and that other vampires kind of fear and distrust us because they don't consider us real vampires. Essentially, we used a blood ritual or potentially even forced a vampire to embrace us. I think all of that is just absolutely fantastic. And I really like the Maximilian Strauss character from Bloodlines. He's also a major reason why I enjoy the Tremere. So my character is actually named Morpheus Strauss because, for those who weren't aware and play the Bloodlines game, Maximilian was based upon Morpheus. So when you first meet Maximilian, he says, "Hello, neonate." And that's a play on Keanu Reeves' first meeting with Morpheus, where he says, "Hello, Neo." So I thought all of that was really cool, and I felt like, hey, making my characters Morpheus, that's a great callback to that character. And so because I love the Tremere, I went all in on thaumaturgy. So I've got 3 points in Path of the Blood. Now, Malcav warned me from the jump that playing as a character who's heavily invested in thaumaturgy, it's more complicated than other options that I could have taken. You really have to be more clever and think through what are some opportunities to make use of your powers. I got to be honest with you, as much as I loved my session last night, I'm a little disappointed in myself. I didn't use my blood powers even once. And I keep racking my brain to try to figure out, man, how can I have used the powers of my blood to give me an advantage in certain situations? And I haven't figured it out yet. I don't consider myself to be a clever person, so I kind of went this route to some degree, not only because from a role-playing standpoint it's what I wanted to do, but also because I knew it was going to challenge me and force me to kind of think through things in a way that I usually don't. Still, at the end of the day, I'm really, really happy with the way my character has come together. Unfortunately, I can't give you more details about what I put into my character sheet because, again, it has to be secret from the other players. I also need to talk to Malcath to find out how much about our actual sessions he's comfortable with me sharing in videos, because I'd love actually to give you all some details as we go through it about, all right, well, this is what happened in the campaign. This is how we reacted, to help people who have never played a tabletop game kind of understand why it's such a big draw for those who do play tabletop games on the regular. But I will say one of the things I really, really enjoyed about Session Zero yesterday was that it made me feel like I was in Bloodlines all over again. We started off with having to introduce ourselves to the Prince, and our Primogens were there, and it was really, really freaking cool. All of us having different introductions. There's a player in our game named Xander, whose character is all about righteousness and standing up for what's right. And he stood in front of the Prince and said, some people think that we're monsters and I'm going to figure out how to change their minds. I was dying laughing, caught me completely off guard. Xander, I think I'm ripping your whole character, dude, and playing it when Bloodlines 2 comes out. When I live stream it, I might live stream it as Xander and be someone who just stands up for righteousness and trying to convince humans that vampires aren't so bad. But really across the board, I'm with a group who is doing a fantastic job of role-playing their characters. We all have different voices. We all have very, very different personalities. It's just really, really cool to be back in the tabletop scene. It's also really interesting to play a game in a way where there's really no opportunity for you to go back. I'm playing through some of the things that I did in Session Zero last night, and I'm like, man, I wish I had done this a different way, or man, I wish I would have spoken up in this particular moment, but I can't just load a save, go back and say, all right, you know what, let's do this a completely different way. I pretty much just got to eat that and move forward. And it's very frustrating, but at the same time, it's really a lot of fun because we're doing sessions every other week. So it's like I'm going to have a whole 2 weeks to think about, all right, this is how we're going to finally do things right. And I know once we finally get to the session, I'm going to do a whole bunch more wrong anyway. But it's just fun to be involved in something that you're thinking about even when you're not playing it. I forgot how much I really enjoy tabletop games. It's making me excited to plunge into some other things. Once we get done with Vampire the Masquerade, I've already got a DM who says he's willing to run Warhammer Heresy. So that'll be next up. And most likely Warhammer will be the first game that we live stream on the channel. Just really excited about it. Really enjoying it. Wanted to share that with all of you. Let me know down in the comments. Are you playing tabletop games right now? You're interested in it? Let me know your thoughts on how I should handle tabletop content on the channel. What are some tabletop campaigns that you're hoping are run on the channel that you would be interested in joining? Let me know. I'll definitely see if we can get a DM for it. What are some communities that maybe I should be plugging into to try to pull more people into what we're doing, get more DMs, get more players? Again, this is all kind of new for me. I'm kind of broaching into a different territory, so I'd absolutely be open to your suggestions. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.